If they think the governor is clean, if they think the governor should stay, they should wait for the 7 days to expire so that they can prosecute their argument on this floor of the House with the Speaker, sir.
Forget about telling me you are a young man making money. There's no money you are making. You was just stealing from the taxpayers.
Offends the morals of our society. And that's why we are very, very concerned and we are going for him.
If you're joining us now, that's what we've been talking about now. Moving on, Interior Cabinet Secretary Joseph Nkaiseri has vehemently denied accusations of police killings and police brutality reported early in the week. In a media press conference today, General Nkaiseri has categorically denied these allegations, saying 98% of the cases cannot be verified. The CI says the media has rogue elements too. What does the media go to do with these men killing innocent Kenyans? Listening to the CS, sorry.
Institution. The police may harbor a few rogue elements, as happened in other sizable institutions, including the media. A few rascals do not justify condemnation of an entire institution. The National Police Service has on its own taken disciplinary action against indisciplined officers. We know the situation, we know the cases, and the case is being investigated.
Gentlemen, what is Nkaiseri smoking, Bobala?
One wonders what he's smoking. You know, today what he's saying, if you look at the number of those killed, the number of victims killed allegedly by the police, it's more than the number of those killed in the normal crime. We're talking about in 6 months, police killing 220. And that's a high number. Then you tell us that that is indeed what is not happening.
Mm-hmm. That police have done a good job when it comes to fighting terrorism. That we have not had incidents of explosions and the likes of it like we did before when Kimai was the police boss. Is not in doubt. It is true that the police have tried to do what they are doing. My problem, as it is what the general has. I mean, the impression he has that they have done nothing wrong, and that is what is making police officers get away. Rogue police officers actually get away with the killings, because there is a big failure at the leadership of the police.
Mm-hmm. This is the leader presiding over 60,000 policemen, smart. One of his officers, two of his officers walk into an hospital and kill someone there because this person refused to die earlier during the day. And this man is standing here and telling us, don't accuse my policemen of killing. And they're killing innocent people. How do you get your head around this madness?
My problem is that, let me just say this. The problem, I'm passionate about this because I've covered police for 18 years and up. My problem is this, is that the rogue police keep doing what they are doing because they're not being held accountable by their seniors. There's a failure at the senior, at the top level of the police. So these guys are not accountable for. I mean, if you, as in KTN, were extorting money from people, and when it's reported, your boss dismisses those allegations or dismisses those reports, I mean, you'll keep doing it. Now, it is for that reason that police will continue killing innocent Kenyans for as long as it takes, until when the leadership gets itself in shape and deals with it. They have to make these people accountable for
Smart, how do we get around it?
To answer that question, the institutional problem which creates an institutional cover, all right, for the institutional mess. That is what Nkaiseri is doing. Nkaiseri is saying you cannot blanketly condemn the police, all right? What that does is it blocks everyone else from asking genuine questions from the police. And that is the kind of, what Obala is talking about, the kind of protection that the few rascals that he's talking about need to get away and get around with. That today, the police are not only a law unto themselves, but they decide how and when anyone lives. They decide that, and they do it consistently every single day. But possibly Nami can tell us, how does a few rogue elements in the media as well compared to the rogue elements in the police that Nkeseri invokes?
I don't know where the minister has gotten this idea that there are so many rocks in the media. The media, I mean, we don't kill. We don't have guns. We only have a pen and a paper. And we express our issues right on paper and sometimes on the screen and sometimes on the airwaves. So, I mean, the minister needs to come out clearly and tell us, well, our job and our role as scribes, we are also just as worse as the police.
No, when you listen to this man, Wabala, you get a feeling of a man who's blindly defending a police force, a police service, despite serious allegations leveled against them. I was reading in the newspapers where a policeman picked a very young man who had gone to watch football, and then he shot him 7 times in front of the mother. This man had nothing on him, and they blamed him.
Exactly, Dennis. When a policeman shoots somebody 7 times, the intention is to kill. It's not to do anything. Because, I mean, one bullet I would understand. But 7 bullets means that this guy really wants you dead. And he's getting away with it with the defense of the CS. I mean, one wrong does not make... 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Mm-hmm.
Just that because media, there are some rogue guys in the media.
Yes.
Does not
it does justify 222 killings in 6 months.
It doesn't.
No. Smart.
Well, let's keep on it. And cases of Kenya police brutality are well documented, or to say the least, an open secret. The country was visited by anguish and shock when a lawyer, his client, and taxi driver were brutally murdered after being hijacked outside a court premises. Now, the case is still fresh in public mind, and the police stand accused. Still, Anami,
yes.
The CS stands in front of Harambee House, office of the president, tells of the country, and says there is nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. There is no iota of evidence to say that the police are wrong. 98% of those cases cannot be verified.
In fact, there is no fact. There is no one denying the fact that the police have done a good job. There are those elements who have done well. There was an introduction of the reforms in the police, changes in the police, oversight police. We've seen some change. We can't deny that. But when you say over 90% of the cases are not true, you're simply saying that what you have reported, especially the case of Willie, Lawyer Willie, that was not a case. The case of Mwingi Hospital, where someone walks in and actually they are reported to be police officers to be coming and killing an innocent man, as you put in your own good words, who refused to die.
Yes.
I mean,
Dennis,
we have a problem.
What will be the turning point for us to get a service out of the police? Because now what we have is
a force out of the police.
Yes.
Smart. I think it's, again, it goes down to the social fabric in this country. This country has accepted that we can take shortcuts. If you steal from us, we can stone you. We don't have to take you to the police station. Many people watching us tonight will be saying, you guys, you've never been victims of carjackings. Okay. But unless they also become victims of extrajudicial killings, then we can start having this discussion. I think this thing was brought home when this lawyer was killed, or this innocent guy who had some theft case some time back in Mingi was shot several times in an hospital bed. It can only happen in Afghanistan, Wabal.
No, if somebody were to give an example of you have not been a victim of carjacking, we are not denying the fact that some police are doing a very good job at that, at protecting us, our lives and property. But to get rogue policemen, like the ones who walk into a police station, the ones who walk to a court and pick up somebody, and still defend them, that is unacceptable. Let's not pretend that is unacceptable. Whether it's the CS defending them, whether it is me defending them, it's just outright unacceptable, and something should be done about it. And as it is, institutions are not working.
And where does this leave genuine and hard-working policemen?
It sends a message. It demoralizes the good officers out there, out to make our homes safe, our roads safe. It really demoralizes. At the end of the day, you have a CS who's saying, I have only one rock officer. I mean, we talk about eggs. One rotten egg will affect the rest.
Smart.
Get rid of them.
How many eggs in this National Police Service are rotten? For the CS to say, I can't smell them.
Dennis, I think unfortunately that's the wrong question. The question is, do we have enough political will to change the force into a service. Unfortunately, I don't think we do have. I think that the police force, the way it's constituted, it works very well for the powers that be. That it's a ruthless force, that it can be used as and when you want against your opponents and provide protection for you. So when you assume office, they sort of hijack you. So there is no enough political will for whoever assumes office to change it. Because changing it means that there will not be a force for you when you want them. And I think that's essential. That's the problem and the central question we have today.
Talking about force, the protestation by the police and CS today is at complete odds with the public mood. During the IBC Monday protest, the media was awash with particular story of alleged police brutality. Police were captured on camera beating a gentleman in a green hood, which was erroneously reported then to have succumbed to his injuries and died. The public believed it, the media believed it. Again, we're back there. Police show up somewhere, clobber this man to near death, and they can still stand up and say, what did you go doing there in IBC demonstrations? Obal.
My question is, was the man brutalized or was he not?
He was.
Then I rest my case. That was an example of unnecessary use of excessive force on an individual. He has a right to picket. Whatever he had done, the cop actually got him. Instead of stepping on his head, you'd have just handcuffed the bag and taken him to a police vehicle or police station. It was near Central Police Station. You can't justify that.
Anami, how do you go about it? Police will say this man was throwing stones at us. We had to clobber him. We are within the law to deal with him.
I think the police have forgotten one thing, that we have a new constitution. There's a right to picket. And the right to picket, of course, you need not turn violent. But as you have seen, this police force has not been able to come to realities that things have changed. What we are talking about, as you said, having police become a service and not a brutal force, it will take a long time to come. Perhaps the starting point is that if there were real reforms that were supposed to be brought in the police force, that should have been done the past 4 years. But we have not seen this government having the political will, just as my colleague says.
I mean, Smart, the framers of this constitution, again, it appears they framed us. They framed it so well for us that they had in place the National Police Service Commission, the Independent Police Oversight Authority, to oversight the work of the police. But you can have a CS who disagrees with the National Police Service Commission. You have an IG who doesn't even listen to them. Where do we live?
I'm tempted to say, Dennis, that we have a beautiful constitution that cannot work in the Kenya of today. It's incompatible with our strength as a country. It's incompatible with where we are in terms of intellectually understanding it. It's incompatible with our politics. I'm tempted to say that this constitution is good for another country. It's not for us.
It's not for us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and the institutions that are there, like the judiciary, we have not seen a situation where a case involving a police brutality has gone through the process of court up to a conclusion. Because the police are the ones who are the custodians of if it is evidence, they're the custodians. If it's preparing the custodians. Despite the fact that we have a new prosecution team in place, that has not helped. So the day we see POA, we see the Kabuli's team and everybody, and someone go through a process and say, okay, let's get the Willis killers, and we see it up to the conclusion, and a sentence is handed, a sentence that is measurable to the crime committed. That's when we'll start to talk about, yes, we have a solution to this police brutality.
It should be on record.
At the moment, it can't.
It should be on record that the first thing the CS did when he got into his office was to seek for the dissolution of IPOA and the National Police Service Commission. So for what intention? These are supposed to be oversight bodies for the police. But he says they're interfering with the job. So he didn't want them. So as it is, these are CS who are very uncomfortable with the National Police Service Commission and
Jackson.
Anami, again, the framers of this Katiba were very clear about the roles of the Inspector General of Police and the CS. Yes. That the IG cannot take instructions from the CS unless in writing. What I see at the terraces of Arambe House is a flower girl in the name of the IG hanging around this master called CS Nkaiseri. Where do we live?
Actually, we have the constitution, as it says, we have a constitution on the paper. Implementation, is a different world. When you are an IG and you're supposed to be someone, just look at the three arms of government. And I was glad to see for the first time judiciary speaking with authority, handling its cases with authority, and saying, hey, look here, we are independent. And Parliament, do your job, the executive, do your job. We will need to see a situation whereby the IG does his job, Kabuludi's team does his job, Power does its job. But when we will see it, still on paper. We need a government that has the willingness to implement the Constitution. People have said the Constitution is the best, but it's on paper.
The other day we saw Ipoa guys clobbered in Kayole. Mm-hmm. We have seen Kavuludi's commission promoting officers, and then it's dismissed. So what it is.
Well, that's the state of affairs. Let's shift gears now. And police have finally caught up with a man who posted a social media post saying, admitting rape. Mohammed Al-Fayo bragged on Facebook and posting pics of him with a minor who he claimed he had defiled. The man had been on the run for some time, but now he's been caught, prompting a manhunt on him. And is this sometimes I think that we are having the people who are mentally disturbed posting things on Facebook, and then the whole country is running behind, our collective anger. Mm-hmm. And then there we have it.
I think we must be caution smart, because you don't know the motivation behind this man posting what he posted and then showing up and saying my account was hacked. So, Babala.
Initially, when I looked at the post, he was bragging, and it looked like somebody, or whoever it is, somebody whose heart had been broken. So he was gloating about doing what he did. But I just hope that it was some 15 minutes of mad fame that happened to him, because then the prosecution has to prove that he actually did what he did. He could have bragged about it on social media, but maybe he has not done it. But if he has done it, he doesn't even deserve being. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to go beyond this post on social media. That defilement cases, rape of minors is on the high risk. I worked in Western region, and sometime I'll tell you, when you go to Mount Elgon, it's a school, Chipkurkur, primary school, where you had over 10 peoples pregnant, right, from 2006. And the people doing this are actually grown-ups who actually have a role to play in bringing up the girl child. And so this is a reflection of society that despite the so-called Joki Ndungu's Sexual Offenders Act, we still have so many cases where people don't differentiate between a minor and somebody who actually is over 18. So this is just a reflection that this is sadly...
It's a broken society.
It's a broken society. And it's a reflection that we need to do more than just having the laws in place.
And this young man happens to be a son to an MC in Nyamira.
Oh, indeed.
Yes, he's a son to an MC in Nyamira.
All right. Yes, we asked you earlier on if you think Evans Kidero should be impeached. 51% of you think absolutely should go. 49%, quite a tight poll, saying that Tanui George, who has been watching the program, says it's part of a scheme to popularize Evans Kidero. I've never had that one. That is just fresh.
Right. Kochola says, no, Kidero will not be impeached and he will remain Nairobi governor up to 2022.
Nyagaya on Twitter, no, the MCAs have no substance. The more reason we need to raise their academic requirement qualifications.
Mm-hmm. There's this fella called Hook. He's saying, question, what are the grounds for impeachment? Person have no idea what need to be enlightened. I don't know what this man is saying, but in many words, Kidero is still in office.
I wish the impeachment came earlier. It may not have much impact as the next election is coming soon. That is Kelvin on Twitter. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
What were the results again, Smart?
51% said yes, 49% no. So it's quite close. Yes, fans. Quite close. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your company. My name is James Smart, Dennis Wonsarigo, Dominic Pala, and Lukanami.